If you've been feeling lately like work has just become, well, incredibly transactional, like it's just this cold, calculated exchange of your labor for a paycheck, look, you are absolutely not alone. Today, in this explainer, we are unpacking this massive vibe shift that's happening right now across American offices and remote setups. We're going to figure out exactly why the modern US workplace feels the way it does. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's a quick look at the journey we're taking today. We'll start with the vibe shift at work, then look at the unwritten rules, explore remote realities and isolation, tackle the quiet quitting epidemic, and finally wrap up with finding a new equilibrium. Section 1, the vibe shift at work. A breakdown of trust. So why does work feel so transactional right now? For so many US employees, the lived reality day in and day out is just feeling like another number on a massive spreadsheet. And that creates this profound, deep-seated sense of disconnection from the companies they work for. It's like a giant puzzle where the pieces just aren't fitting together anymore. And listen, the data completely backs up these vibes. A staggering 92% of workers confessed to using company time to search for another job. I mean, 92%. That is basically everyone. It clearly shows that loyalty is seriously faltering right now. Having hard data like this proves that this transactional turn we're feeling, it is definitely not just in our heads. But here's the catch. People aren't necessarily just packing up and leaving. The real story here is disengagement. People feel completely stuck in a softening labor market. In fact, the quit rate actually fell to 1.9% in early 2026. So instead of quitting, workers are doing what's called ghost working. 60% admit they regularly pretend to work just to look busy, and another 33% say they occasionally fake it. You're physically or digitally at your desk, but mentally, you've totally checked out. Section 2, the unwritten rules, understanding the psychological contract. Now, what's really interesting about this is to actually understand the shift, we have to talk about the psychological contract. This is a concept established by organizational behavior expert Denise M. Rousseau. Basically, she points out that there is far more to your employment than just that stack of legal HR paperwork you sign on day one. It represents the unwritten rules. It's your subjective belief that if you give your loyalty, your sweat, and your hard work, the organization has a reciprocal obligation to actually take care of you. And this creates a really fascinating contrast. Back in the post-WWI era, American workers generally operated under relational contracts. Think of this as the old handshake deal. It depended on deep trust, loyalty, solid job security, and collective goals. Work hard, and you'll always have a home here. Fast forward to today, and we've largely shifted to transactional contracts. This is purely labor for pay, short-term exchanges, strict individual boundaries. It has become a highly individualized environment for the modern US employee. But here is a fundamental truth we can't ignore. You really can't expect people to own our unwritten rules if the written ones don't even meet their basic human needs. Think about this. Only 40% of US workers actually have a quality job that meets their basic financial needs. Research shows that pay in the US simply has not kept up with productivity since the 1970s. When your literal paycheck falls short, sustaining that imaginary psychological contract becomes incredibly hard. Section 3, remote realities and isolation, the paradox of flexibility. Okay, so let's talk about the remote worker's reality because it is a massive paradox. On one hand, you have amazing autonomy. On the other, crushing isolation. Remote work naturally shifted our focus away from collective team-based goals and forced us to hyper-focus on our own individual productivity and survival. And while we absolutely love the freedom of working from anywhere, losing that spontaneous, in-person human connection really eats away at trust, knowledge sharing, and team cohesion. Yet, despite the isolation, employees will fiercely protect this flexibility. Get this, 66% of workers say they would look for a new job if their remote options ended, and 39% would quit on the spot. No way are they giving that up. So there is immense tension here. People want to keep their flexibility, but when companies force these heavy return to office mandates to try and rebuild connection, it usually backfires. To the employee, it just feels like a broken promise, a literal violation of that psychological contract. So the crucial point is, the whole environment just feels fundamentally unstable. Enter the forever layoff. This is a relatively modern pattern of rolling, continuous job cuts, usually affecting fewer than 50 workers at a time. Why do they do it this way? To quietly reduce payroll without making national headlines. This endless cycle creates a constant, draining undercurrent of job insecurity. It's like you're always looking over your shoulder, which pushes workers even further into that defensive transactional mindset. Section 4. The quiet quitting epidemic. Symptoms of a broken contract. Quiet quitting gets thrown around a lot as just some social media trend, but actually, scratch that. It's a direct structural response to everything we've just covered. What's driving it? Chronic burnout, insane work overload, zero recognition, remote isolation, and constant job insecurity. This pushes employees, especially Gen Z and millennials, into survival mode. It's self-preservation. This silent burnout means doing exactly what your job description requires to the letter and absolutely nothing more. And the cost of all this disengagement? $5 million. To put that into perspective, that is the estimated annual economic toll that burnout costs a standard 1,000-person company every single year. It's driven by lost productivity and the massive cost of high turnover. Trying to treat employees like machines and ignoring the human element of work, it turns out it's incredibly expensive. But here is the fascinating twist. Despite all this turmoil, despite the massive shift toward purely transactional relationships, what we fundamentally want hasn't actually changed at all. Glassdoor's chief economist Daniel Zhao hit the nail on the head. He notes that workers today still want the same core things: a healthy culture, genuine opportunities for career advancement, and leaders that actually give them confidence. The core human desires in the workplace, they remain exactly the same. Section 5. Finding a new equilibrium. Prescribing a solution. Let's move to and see how this builds into actionable steps, because we can't just talk about the problem, right? How do we actually fix this? Companies have got to actively close the gap between the nice things they say and what their employees actually experience. Step 1, set absolutely clear, transparent promotion criteria. Advancement has to be visible and fair. Step 2, handle any restructuring or layoffs with total candor and respect. No more playing games. And step 3, actively integrate wellness and community support into the daily flow of work to combat the intense isolation of hybrid and remote setups. Ultimately, finding true equilibrium means providing fair compensation, offering real, genuine opportunities to grow, and treating your employees like human beings, not just line items on a payroll expense sheet. For the modern U.S. employee, loyalty isn't dead. It's really not. But it has to be a sincerely exchanged mutual advantage. It simply cannot be a one-sided demand from an employer who offers absolutely no security in return. So, I want to leave you with this final provocative question to think about today. Will your workplace actually honor the unwritten rules? Take a second to reflect on your own psychological contract at work. What are you giving them every day, and what are you truly getting in return? Are those unwritten rules balanced for you? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking the tough questions, keep learning, and I'll see you next time.